Let's learn what respiration is. You know, our body cells keep doing so much work all throughout the day. They work 24/7, but do they work for free? No, they also need some energy, right? Then only they can carry out these life processes. So, this process is known as respiration. So, what is this process? By which cells get energy to carry out life processes. And it's not something that is particular to humans. Various living organisms perform the process of respiration to get energy for various life processes, such as plants, animals, humans, bacteria, fungi, yeast. All of them carry out the process of respiration so that their cells can get energy. Using that energy, those cells can then carry out various important functions. So we need to know what is the need of respiration. So cells need energy. Energy is obtained by respiration. But the question is, why do cells need any energy at all? So cells perform various functions. First important function is for the synthesis of proteins. So whatever food that we intake, the protein part of it is converted to amino acids stored in our body, and those amino acids are then used to construct proteins in our body. So a lot of energy is required for this, and body gets this energy from respiration. Second important thing is that there are various enzymes in our body. These enzymes act as catalysts for various life processes. So whatever energy that cells get, they also use it for the production of enzymes. If these enzymes are not present, those life processes cannot take place. Third reason is that whenever there is muscle movement, for the movement of muscles, body cells again expend a lot of energy. So that is why respiration is very important. Fourth thing is that there are various electrical signals that get transmitted in our body through neurons or nerve cells. So those electrical signals, for them to be transferred, a lot of energy is used up by the neurons. The fifth point would be that cells keep on dividing to form newer cells. So for this process, the cells again need a substantial amount of energy. The most important point is that cells produce energy which keeps the body warm. It provides warmth to the body. So again, for this process, a lot of energy is required by the cells of the body to keep the body warm. So this is applicable for warm-blooded animals. They need to maintain the temperature of their blood. So we know what respiration is, why is it so important for our body. But now we need to find out what are the raw materials that are actually required for respiration. We have two raw materials for respiration. The first is a 6-carbon molecule which is called glucose. This is a 3D picture of glucose molecule, and glucose formula is C6H12O6. This glucose is broken down into smaller components. In this process, energy is released. But what is that substance that causes this breakdown of glucose? That substance is oxygen. So oxygen, when it combines with glucose in the cells, it breaks down glucose into simpler substances and releases energy. So where are we getting glucose from? We are getting glucose from the food that we eat. So food has carbohydrates. Those carbohydrates are digested in our body, and ultimately in small intestine it becomes glucose. So that glucose is absorbed by the cells of the body. So the cells of the body now have glucose. They also need oxygen. So where do they get their oxygen from? Oxygen is obtained in the process of inhalation. So during breathing, we inhale atmospheric air which contains oxygen. Lungs transport this oxygen to various parts of the body through blood. So that was how raw materials are obtained for respiration by the body. We eat a lot of carbohydrates, right? So those carbohydrates are digested. So by digestion, they convert into glucose which is transported to various cells of the body. But now imagine an animal whose diet is mostly consisting of flesh. So for flesh eating animals, they won't have carbohydrates in their body. So how will they get this glucose from? So in those flesh eating animals, they are eating a diet that is very rich in proteins. So those proteins are digested, and when they get digested, they form amino acids. So these amino acids, whatever are in excess, they are stored in the liver. So whatever is in excess, it gets stored in the liver. Now, when liver stores it, it stores it in the form of glucose. So it is stored in liver as glucose. So this glucose, whenever the cells need energy, glucose is released by the liver and it reaches the cells. So we see that glucose does not have any alternative for respiration. Glucose is essential for respiration. For those animals who are not taking any carbohydrates, even in those animals, the proteins ultimately get converted to glucose so that cells may have it and perform the process of respiration and gain energy. Now let's see some of the salient features of the process of respiration. In respiration, glucose reacts with oxygen and it breaks into simpler substances. It breaks into simpler substances, and in this process energy is released, which is used by the cells. This would be the first feature of respiration. Second point is that this process is not a single step. It takes place in multiple steps. And third point, that these multiple steps, they cannot proceed without the presence of various enzymes. So enzymes are the chemicals that act as catalysts for various steps that are involved in respiration. If these enzymes are not present, respiration is not going to take place. Fourth salient feature of respiration is that whatever energy is produced here, it is in the form of heat energy. Some part of it is in the form of heat energy, and major part of it is in the form of chemical energy, and more specifically in the form of a molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. We'll see more details about ATP in upcoming videos. And now let's move on to the fifth feature of respiration. Fifth feature is that the basic steps in respiration are going to be the same in plants and animals. And we are mostly talking about that respiration that is taking place in the presence of oxygen. So that kind of respiration is going to be the same in plants as well as in animals. We learned about what respiration is, what is the need for respiration, the raw materials that are required in respiration, and some of the very important features of respiration.